Should I introduce myself first?
Yes, I'll take care of that.
Okay, we're rolling.
All right, this is
My name is Robyn Deer. I wanted.
Where were you born?
Born 4/17/15 in Chicago, Illinois.
Okay, so you're 92 years old.
She doesn't hear a thing.
That's where
Were you enlisted or drafted?
I started in the aviation cadet program, and I learned to fly 2 planes. I got my license, but I washed out when they washed out 75% of our class in Arkansas. And then I became a GI. So I end up in Arkansas.
When did you enlist?
In 40. I went in 42, and I went to Stuttgart, Arkansas, when I got washed out. And my first assignment, I was a lawyer before I had gone in, so they gave me a teaching job, and I taught the CGA glider pilots for a few days. Then I got a job. The Army gave me 3 jobs, and I got 5 of my own. I got in the control tower operation, and in 5 months after I went in as a dog face, I was a sergeant. 5 years after I was a sergeant, as a control tower officer. I mean, not officer, I was in charge. I was the enlisted man in charge of it.
Mm-hmm.
Till one day I got mad because my control tower officer, who was my boss, I couldn't take it from a guy. I was a lawyer and everything. I couldn't take it from a nincompoop like the So I volunteered to become an officer, but I forgot about that, and I went on for a while. I forgot. They Dutch Guard is right on the in the swamplands of Arkansas, and I wish I could I make more sense out of what I'm trying to tell you. But anyway, I was a sergeant in charge of his control tower in Stuttgart, Arkansas. And until I volunteered to go to Greenland, the base, air base in Greenland, to take over the control and become a master sergeant. So I was, one day I was over standing in line to get my physical to take that assignment, and my top kick came running up. He said, "What are you doing here, dear? You're supposed to. You're confined to base. You're qualified in your for office training." I had forgotten all about the fact that I had applied for OCS, but the month before they took from our base 12 guys for OCS, in the period I was there were only 3 taken, and I was one of. And the reason I got it, when we had in qualifying for, you have to meet a board, and like this, and tell them all about yourself. And I'd been warned by about a Captain Goldberg, was a dentist or something. But he was a mean interrogator. And when I was forewarned about him, so when he sat there for a long time, didn't say anything. Finally, he said to me, "Who was discouraged God, I said to him, before it was Genghis Khan, before the president, now I'd be Adolf Hitler. So I went to OCS in Miami, got my camp, got my got me first incidency, and I was sent to California to teach, because I was a lawyer, to teach court-martial procedure and I forgot the other name, court-martial procedure and military law. So I was what ended up in that was assigned in the base and base in the middle of California, and I went out there, and one day all the soldiers knew I was a lawyer in private life, so when they got in trouble, they asked me for me to defend them. So I defended several guys for different things, desertion and everything and stuff like this. But one day I was in a barber shop and got to talking to the guy in the next tray, and when we got done, he says, I want to talk to you. He says, you shouldn't be wasted here. When I get back to San Francisco, I'm going to try to get you to join the CIC. I said, what's that? He says, the counterintelligence corps. So he did that, and a long tail, I got assigned to, the fun part was that one day on the first assignment, I wanted to get it changed, so I went into the not the commanding officer, but the run, and
taking all this down? Taking all this down?
Yes.
and I saluted, and this lieutenant colonel and said, I wanted to volunteer to do legal work, and the colonel said, young man, you don't tell the Army what you want to do, the Army tells you. So then when I got notice for this assignment to CIC, when the announcement came over, I walked in his office, and he handed me something. He said, I could be wrong. So I became a counterintelligence, sent to counterintelligence training in Chicago, my hometown, and I was there for, that was the counterintelligence training school, and then from there we went to what now is, it was Camp Ritchie in my day in Maryland. The president's in the hills of Maryland. Camp David, yeah. It was Camp Ritchie in my day, and they had different, it was an intelligence training camp. And we spent the time not very unpleasantly. It was November, and we had to go out and do overnight hikes and get lost, go marching through different swamps and everything. It was terrible. And the stoves in our tent would backfire and build shafts all over, so it was no fun there. But that was the first place I ever had baked Alaska. It was told to be a rich man. The newspapers called them the senators and representatives' sons assignment. But then I finally, as I told you, got the assignment for anyway, I finally got an assignment as a counterintelligence officer and a second lieutenant counterintelligence officer, and I was sent to Honolulu, and I could have spent the rest of the war in Honolulu, but I didn't want that. I was a young lawyer, and I didn't want to face these guys who went through the battles and everything. And later, when I was a lawyer, And I didn't want them to say, well, you didn't, you best, but you didn't how rough it was to be in, and I didn't want to tell me that, so I wanted to volunteer and to get into combat, and an opportunity came up to join this outfit to go into the Battle of Okinawa. So my colonel almost kissed with him. He always had a heck of a job finding volunteers to go into combat, and to have a guy volunteer saved him a lot of trouble. And so I got, and I had to carry a 32-pound box of ammunition for Smith & Wesson's 35 pistols, which pilots and naval pilots were the only ones that used 35. The rest of them was a caliber 50. So I had to take this ammunition out, weighed 72 pounds, and transferring from an a landing craft in Lady Bay on a wavy day. I had a ladder at the bottom of the ladder, and it was going up and down, up and up. This was this 30 pound. I could see myself go down, get squashed. But finally, I got it out of the ladder, and got on board. So that was my introduction to it. We were getting ready to go to Okinawa for April 1st, 1945. And I went aboard a ship, and one day I was walking out on the deck, and I saw a guy sitting on one of the parts of the deck. And he was sitting on a dead place. I went over, he was just like this, and I kicked his arm out from it. Lord, what are you doing here? It was my first cousin. I didn't even know it was wrong. Dick Brown. And Dick had been in the 7th Division, went through more battles than any Alaska, and then from Alaska, there was, after Alaska, there was the Philippines. Another of the islands, I can't just think of the name. Then there was it had 5 beachhead landings anyway, more than any other military unit except the 1st Division of the Marines. And so we boarded us a ship that was taking us to and the guy reported, took me around Lady, and I saw it was interesting, the Filipinos were living in those days. But we went back on, and April 1st, we had been sailing towards Okinawa, and early in the morning we got blasted out of bed, and everything, most horrendous amount of firing, naval gunfire, area bombardment, and all this stuff. But we were very glad we were the kamikazes were coming and diving on our ship. The ship next to the one I got a direct hit, and we lost the whole regiment when it was sunk. But we went in, we finally disembarked and got into an LCVT, the landing craft. Landing craft, big thing. I don't remember what man. And
It was a
yeah,
vehicle.
no, we'd seen the pictures of the beaches landings of D-Day in Europe before, well, and that's what we expected. Instead, when I was going in, I spent my time walking off the beach, looking at a beautiful blue fish all around me. I put my gear, I had a lot of it, especially a big parachute bag with 5 bottles of whiskey in it. And they were set down on the shore to be picked up. They had their name and so on. But we didn't have to carry it in then. And so, but that's those clothes of mine stayed dead on the beach for 30 days before I could get back to it. After we hit the beach, we immediately started digging a shell hole, foxhole. My sergeant boy from California was Tug Dandy, and I were digging. We dug a hole together. When night came, he said, you're the you're the important guy or something like that. So you stay awake and watch this. And I sat there all night long with my pistol pointed up over the head, and it was good to get shot up. That's why it worked. You had these foxholes around. There was no stirring around at night. Anything that moved got shot at by our own people. The next day, my first point assignment was to go up to Kempo Airport on top of a cliff just off the sea. The Kempe Tai, the FBI, the Japanese, was supposed to have records of everybody in the area, and I was supposed to get a hold of those records. When I got up there, it was all blown up. There wasn't anything, just shards of paper. But I heard some guys talking, some Americans, and I looked over this. There was a drop down there. I looked over there, I say, who are you guys? And they say, we're the Marines. Who are you? What are you doing out there? They said, well, what are you doing back here? Our division is already across to Buckner Bay. But a lot of funny things happen. So, what we learned quickly, that the whole island of Okinawa is penetrated by limestone caves, and the Japanese and had been subjected to 2 weeks of preparation bombing before we got there, in preparation for us. So they'd all gone underground. So at night, when they set up a camp, we had to first get the holes,
Sit down, Harry.
check out all those caves, which were on our troops, would have been on our troops. And the Japanese would come out at night, but they never came out in the day because we could see them. And So we quickly learned to try to, in fact, we had orders from our commanding general to, before destroying, we had to either, if there was a cave there, we either had to get the people out safely, or we would have to close it up and kill everybody in there, roll dynamite and then finally our commanding general told us demand to do with should save civilian lives, and I mean save all lives. Don't kill anybody unless they had to. And so these Nisei quickly learned. They had done some of it in Saipan before to talk to people out of these caves with a real pep talk. So you've been your soldiers trying to pay to their ego, and they got it very expert at it. So we've spent the whole war saving people's lives instead of shooting them. I carried a Tommy gun all through the war, and a pistol and knives, and I never had to shoot at anyone. But many people shot at me.
Did you have Japanese Americans in your?
Oh, yeah. No. In our intelligence unit was out of headquarters. They're both a language team and a CIC team, and we worked together, and the CIC team backed up the language team when we invaded the caves to find the information the Japanese had left behind when the people there had been killed. And then we did that for 82 days. We, without unintentionally killing anybody. And oh, it's a lot more, if I could remember. One day, I wanted to go to get some information with a unit on the 7th Infantry. It was Custer's old unit.
7th
Cavalry. They covered our left flank, and this captain, or person, was a school teacher, And I went up there one day to get information from him, and I saw the man was literally crying. I said, well, what's the matter? He said, I just had to order my men to kill 75 Japanese in cold blood. And I can't do it against my nature. But I had to do it. We couldn't cover them. We couldn't turn them loose. We had to kill them. And that was the terrible decisions you'd have to make in war. I often wondered, one night I almost got court-martialed where I could have been hung. I had a unit up there helping to empty these claims. Nighttime came. We got behind the wall to protect us through the night, and we got a phone call from a commanding officer in the night. I was the executive officer. I had a captain over me, and Bill, my captain, ordered us to get out of our, this is after dark, get out and go to a certain place and try and clear the caves. I said, Bill, you don't know what it's like up here. We don't put our heads or get them shot right off. There were dead cows and dead horses and all the stuff in the mornings because they got shot moving around. Because anything that moved after dark was never shut up. And he said, I don't care. That's my order. You get them to it. I said, now wait a minute. You don't understand the conditions up here. Will you please call Colonel Hunt, our immediate boss, his immediate boss, what the situation is before I disobey you and face a court-martial. And he said, okay, I will. So he talked to, he came back out of that, and Colonel Hunt said we didn't have to go out. That's it. I would hunt. I'd have been, I could have been hung for that. What's my, there's another thing. There was a time they sent headquarters in Washington, sent a group of 10 experts in their field to study the missions, the Japanese armament stuff on a battlefield. So I had the assignment of taking so we were
Going to sleep. Huh? Yeah. That's enough is enough, you know us. You can tell us about it too, but
I gotta get this straight. We
time to go to sleep.
while these guys were gathering this stuff, I went over to the side to the where our points, 37th Red Battalion were there under a very very nice colonel, and
How long is this going on? We'll find out.
and I went over there and I looked out for a lot of dead cows, horses, Japanese soldiers, bodies out there, and there was a whole bunch of trenches with machine guns and everything, all torpedoes set up there, all the ammunition there and everything. There wasn't an American soldier around. And I went back to get these guys to support me and being able to take that back, that information back to my headquarters. And so I did. And when we got back, I reported to Major. I still had it. One of our when I reported to this, our boss's boss, were majors in the intelligence section, and I told him that about this place. There's no soldiers, no American soldiers at all. Our whole flank was open. He said, I can't tell the general that. And I said, he says it shows right here on my map that those the 92nd Division is over there. And I said, there isn't a 96th Division or anybody else. That flank is wide open. There's no protection over there. During the night, the Japanese moved the whole battalion in the morning, which was May Day in Europe, I think, happened to be. There was moved the whole battalion, and in the morning they were shooting us from the rear, and nobody knows how many got killed or hurt because we didn't have that major I was talking about didn't believe me when I told him the flank was open. And my roommate, tent mate, was a division historian, was in this, that morning, he was with Major Hartley. He and Major Hartley, the 37th commander, were in a cave, red trenches. There were, and they were all crossed down because these guys were shooting from the rear. And Russell told Major Hartley about the fact that it was May Day in Europe, and he got up, and the major got up on the lip of the trench. He said, Russell, if I can get that sniper there, and that sniper there, and that sniper there, it'd be a nice anytime. Oh, not till it was over. 82 days the battle lasted. That is very interesting too. We if I give you too much time. We have 5 minutes.
We've had an hour already.
We had 2 faults end of the wars. One after they bombed Hiroshima, and one and finally Nakashima, when the emperor came on the radio and ordered all his commanding officers to lay down their arms. And that was the end of the Battle of Okinawa.
You're right. Thank you, sir.
Joe.
in January of '46. Camp Ritchie, no, Indiana.
As long as he's done, guys. Oh, I don't know. Have to ask him.
Just a couple minutes.
I was a military high school graduate, so I have been as a soldier all my life.
5 minutes to 11. There's a clock.
I graduated from Morgan Park Military Academy, which is no longer in existence. But and so I was pretty wise about military before I get mixed up in it.
Okay. Yes.
I hope that could understand enough. I can't.
We all know.
Well, thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you.